Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for being here for Proverbs 27:14 through 27. I'm glad you are here. If you've got any questions or comments, leave those in the comment section below. Those are appreciated, as well as likes and shares. Helps get the word out and let your friends know that you are checking these out, and maybe they should too. And without anything else, we'll go ahead and jump into the second half of Proverbs 27. Verse 14, whoever blesses his neighbor with a loud voice, rising early in the morning, would be counted as cursing. Um, so this points out that even saying the right thing at the wrong time or in the wrong tone will not be received well. So not only do we need to be careful about what we say and making sure that we are blessing our neighbors and those around us, but when we say it and how we say it are also important. Just like, someone's yelling at you early in the morning, it doesn't really matter what they're saying, as long as, if they're yelling early in the morning, the words don't matter. Or even if they're saying something insulting later in the day or with a softer tone, both are important. So we need to pay attention to not only what we say, but how we say it and how that affects the people around us. And we are ultimately responsible for all of that. Verse 15, we get to talk about the quarrelsome wife again. A continual dripping on a rainy day and a quarrelsome wife are alike. Continuing to 16, to restrain her is to restrain the wind or to grasp oil in one's right hand. So again, as we've talked about before, I don't, that, Proverbs is not giving you grounds for divorce if you feel like your wife is quarrelsome. Again, I think it has a lot more to do with choosing a wife in the first place, and then with the wife you've got, your actions will cause her to be more or less quarrelsome. So we go back to the happy wife, happy life idea, and that, doing everything you can to serve your wife and to love your wife will lead into her not being quarrelsome, or vice versa. It's this is not necessarily a wife specific thing. I don't think a quarrelsome husband can be, or I assume would be. Obviously, I'm not experienced in the area, but I know that I can be just as, if not more, annoying than my wife if I am in a particular mood. So, in either case, happy wife, happy life, and just be wise there. Verse 17, iron sharpens iron as one man sharpens another, and so this, I'm sure you've heard before. This is, I think, every men's group motto, and I think it's kind of overused and underexplained. So the mental picture here is of iron being used to forge, new tools, new iron. But a couple things that I wanted to point out with that is that it's not a smooth and easy process. It's not a quick process. Even today, when they forge iron, it takes multiple passes and lots of heat. But if you think about the day in which this was written, it was, literally a hammer and a pile of coals and an anvil, and it was just, put it in the fire, pull it out, beat on it, put it in the fire, pull it out, beat on it, put it in the fire, pull it out, beat on it. And so if you think about this in the context of a Christian relationship and being used to shape each other, it's not comfortable. Sometimes some heat has to be applied. Sometimes some force has to be applied, and it's not always going to be, roses and daisies and just, wonderful conversations or conversations about sports. It's got to be pressure, and it's got to be heat. It's got to be the hard conversations, the ones you don't want to have. It's got to be the subjects you don't want to bring up. For iron to truly sharpen iron, you've got to get into the meat and the real relationship, and not just stop on the surface. Verse 18, whoever tends a fig tree will eat its fruit, and he who guards his master will be honored. So even, servants that would tend fig trees were able to eat some of the figs. And so he who looks after his master, his boss, his employer, his customer, whatever the case may be, will be honored, will be benefited by that. Verse 19, as in water, face reflects face, so the heart of man reflects the man. So if you think about a mirror, or in this case it's talking about the reflection of a pool of water as you would bend down to drink, it reflects what you actually look like, not what you want to look like, not what you think you look like, not what other people say you look like. It reflects your true reflection. There's no way to modify that. So the heart of man reflects man. So your true self, your inner being, is what's going to reflect who you are. So not who you put on to be, not who you want to be, but your inner man is going to show through, and that's going to show who you truly are. Verse 20, Sheol and Abaddon are never satisfied, and never satisfied are the eyes of man. So Sheol and Abaddon are other words for hell or Hades. And so just like they, are never satisfied, Satan's never satisfied with, the people he's taken down. He's going to continue to fight for more. So also are our eyes, in that, we constantly desire more, we constantly want more, we constantly envy and, seek out new things and better things, and we're never content. And I think this is telling us to be careful how much we desire and how much we look for. Verse 21, the crucible is for silver, and the furnace for gold. A man is tested by his praise. So the crucible was used to purify silver, and the furnace was used to purify gold. So also is a man tested by the praise that's given to him. So how you handle praise and what you do with praise, and how you let it affect you, is what's going to test your true character. There's one thing that's going to test your true character. Verse 22, crush a fool with a mortar and a pestle, along with crushed grain, yet his folly will not depart from him. So a mortar and pestle, if you're not a pharmacy major, or if you never used it in cooking, was basically a wood or a stone bowl, and then a wood or a stone tool that was kind of made to be not exactly the shape of the bowl. It was a little bit smaller, but they would take the herbs or whatever they were crushing, whatever grain they were crushing, they would put it in the bowl, and they would use the pestle to crush it up, right? And so they would take grain and make flour out of it, or they would take grain and make at least smaller pieces of it. So this is saying that even if a fool is crushed and pulverized, his folly will not depart from him. No matter what, you can't remove the folly from a fool. Don't from the outside looking in, if you are considering yourself wise looking into a fool, don't waste your time trying to remove his folly. It's not going to happen. Or if you are a fool, know that it's not going to be an easy task to remove your foolishness. Verse 23, know well the condition of your flocks, and give attention to your herds. 24, for riches do not last forever, and does a crown endure to all generations. So this is saying, from a business perspective, pay attention to what you've got, what's going out, what's coming in, and know that, riches don't last forever. And I mean, this is true to personal finance as well. Pay attention to what you've got, know what's going out, what's coming in, and know that riches don't last forever, and that, you have to pay attention, and you have to be active and actively involved in that for it to last at all. And then 25 through 27, when the grass is gone and new growth appears, and the vegetation of mountains is gathered, The lambs will provide your clothing, and the goats are the price of a field. There will be enough goat's milk for your food, and the food for your household, and the maintenance for your girls. So this is pointing out a couple of things. So we just talked about, kind of a business concept of paying attention to what you've got and taking care of that. And so then it goes into, the vegetation from the mountains. So that would be like herbs and berries and stuff that they wouldn't necessarily cultivate and grow. They would just walk up in the mountains and be able to gather that. And so that was kind of food that the Lord had specifically provided. They didn't have to put in the work for it. And then the lambs, obviously, there was some work involved there, but they would provide clothing. The goats, the price of the field, so they would pay for, being able to sell goats, would pay for the land or the lease, whatever the case may be. And then that, there's enough milk and food for the house, and even some for the maintenance of the girls, or for the ladies' necessities or whatever. So this kind of points out that God provides for us, and that as long as we're paying attention and keeping up with what's going out and what's coming in from verse 23 and 24, that these things will come and they will be provided, and that we don't have to worry about it, but we do have to work at it. So that's it for 27, and I'm going to wrap there for today, and we will pick up tomorrow with chapter 28. Thank you for being here. Have a great day.